Greetings, YouTube. I was poking around the Pathfinder magic items recently, and I noticed that there is a number of items that require you to possess them for a particular number of hours before they become fully active, or even sometimes days before they're fully active. Um, and the implication is after that tuning time, that attunement time, attunement probably is a better word, um, is that you would always wear the item. That the item would always be in contact with you for it to be effective. Now, there are certain types of items, for example, that I think make perfect sense. There is the Ring of Regeneration. You probably want that on all the time because you need to have it on to heal the injuries that you receive. But that's life support kind of a thing. There is there's a Ring of Sustenance, I think it's called, which provides you with just that. If after wearing it for a week, it now covers you for your requirements of food, drink, and you only need 2 hours of sleep a day, though you have the effect of having 8, even if you're a spellcaster. And again, life support. I get that. There's the Necklace Adaptation, which provides you with protection from gases and smokes, and it lets you breathe water, and even protects you from vacuum. So you could actually walk out a lock in a spacecraft, and you'd be perfectly fine with that particular necklace on. Again, life support. And jewelry, no matter where it is on your body, can be worn 24/7. You never have to take it off, and it doesn't look out of place. It completely and utterly seems normal if you're always wearing your necklace, even if you're naked. So technically, are you naked? Are you naked if you have jewelry on all the time? I don't think I would stand up in court, quite frankly. Um, so all of that makes sense to me. But some of the items didn't. And for example, there's a number of magic belts. Uh, belts that enhance stats, strength, dexterity, and constitution, which require you to wear them for 24 hours before they become fully active. And once they're fully active, then the implication seems to be you always wear them. But who wears a belt all the time? I don't know about you, but 5 minutes after I'm at home, I'm in sweatpants. I got sweatpants right now. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm filming videos right now, I'd just have my sweatshirt on top of my whatever I'm wearing underneath this, which is I think it's just a long sleeve thermal, because I'm into comfort, and I'm sure as shooting not going to wear some ornate fancy belt with a buckle on it all the time, like when I sleep. Now, I can understand if you have to say wear that kind of an item for 24 hours for it to be attuned to you. Sorry, the cat is being obnoxious. Yes, the cat is. And after that, you can take it on and off, and it will only work when it's on you, and when it's not on you, it doesn't work, and no one else can use it until they wear it for 24 hours. Then it becomes attuned to them. That would make perfect sense to me. Absolutely. But that kind of an item is bulky, and it just seems completely foreign to me that you would be required to wear that 24/7. Because if you are required to wear it all the time, to me, that really smacks of video games. If you're equipping your character in Skyrim or Fallout with a piece of equipment, no one bats an eye if you never take it off until you need another piece of equipment, or you upgrade to a better piece of equipment for that same body slot. No one bats an eye at that. Absolutely. They're like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. You're going to wear that all the time because it's a really good item. But no one also pays attention to the fact that your character's always wearing power armor in, Fallout, and you never worry about the fact that your character sleeps in it and walks around in it and is strolling through town in it all the time. And everyone just kind of accepts this, which in my mind is very strange. But even in Skyrim, which is a little more relaxed kind of place, you're not going to be wearing that mask that you got from the Dragon Priest 24/7. You're just not going to. It's very bulky. You're not going to sleep in it. I don't care how cool it is. Um, and if the game rules for a tabletop role-playing game kind of sort of imply the same attitude, that kind of meta commentary, or it just really kind of destroys the living world aspect to me. Now I think you can actually extrapolate that into non-magical, non-fantastical items. So if your fighter is someone that wears plate armor wherever they go, that makes no sense to me. If you're in the field, you're going to be wearing that in the field during the day. But you're not going to be doing things like gathering firewood in it, or you're definitely not going to sleep in it. No, you're not. Sleeping in full plate is a really good way to like end up with some severe physical aches, pains, and you're not going to heal any while you're sleeping and stuff like that. And you're probably going to get an accumulation of negatives over time. It's bulky. I know that it's far more flexible than people think it is, but you don't want to be sleeping in it. The same thing goes with weapons. I mean, if you're carrying a little blade like this, no one is going to care. Absolutely all right. But you're not walking around with a two-handed sword on your back. If you think your character is walking around town with a two-handed sword in full plate, unless you are in some little tiny hamlet where no one can tell you you can't do that because you're the guy carrying the two-handed sword and you're in full plate, so you're one step above like a robber baron just because you're there. If you're in a city, you're going to attract the attention of every darn guard and city watch person that there is. You just won't be allowed to do that. There is no way that I would ever allow that to happen. You have to have different types of gear that is more subtle in a city. So your rogues and stuff fit far better into a city, which makes perfect sense, than the fighter type who is used to wearing his full plate and carrying a two-handed battle axe or something. You have to adapt to the environment you're in. And rogues and mages and most priests are going to be able to fit into an urban environment far more easily. But the priests themselves are also not going to be wearing their full plate because clerics in D&D and Pathfinder for the most part are usually considered to be takeoffs on the concept of like the Crusader Paladin or Paladin, or I want to say it, how you prefer to say it. I say Paladin. You know, from the Middle Ages, from the High Middle Ages. But an urban environment requires a different kind of thing. You're going to be carrying a smaller sword and a buckler and no armor. The mage is very likely to be bearing a higher level of armor than the fighter is, especially if they get like magic bracers on and they get a ring of protection or one of those necklaces of protection or something that increases your natural armor class. They could have a higher armor class rating than the fighter does. Why? Because you can't see it. It's invisible. And they have spells to enhance themselves even further. Whereas the fighter, his gear is back at the lodge locked up someplace. Or in the fighter guild where he stored it, or things like that. But you can't walk around town like that. There are times when the realities and the tropes, to my mind, clash. They don't mesh. They clash. There's conflict. And you have to play that out. I was watching a video that my friend Skullagrim did, talking about if firearms were to like magically disappear, what do you think people would be wearing as everyday types of self-defense? And one of his conclusions is a decent one-handed weapon. And I think one of his sword suggestions was the Messer, the German Messer, which is kind of like a giant knife, which I think is a really good choice, and a buckler, because it's easy to carry. I mean, a buckler's yay big, It can easily be slipped over the handle of a sword, so you're carrying both the sword and the buckler in the same location on your body. So it's not taking it that much additional space on you. You don't have to have a special buckler location on your body, and it's not obnoxious and it's easy. Pull that out, boom, but it's obviously a self-defense item, and it's not something that is a tool of war. And you're just not going to be able to walk around with tools of war in a city. So this video is kind of a mix here of talking about both magic items, to my mind, that are strange if you're expected to wear them all the time, because I think it's very video gamey, and the fact that in a real setting, even if it's a fantasy setting, or even a science fiction setting, you're not going to be able to wear your power armor or your full plate in the city. You just can't. No one is going to let you get away with that. It's like if you're playing Rifts, nobody's going to let you wear your glitter armor, your glitter boy armor, to the local pub. It doesn't happen. You have to take it off, which is why the balance levels in Rifts make very little sense to me, because you can have a glitter boy and someone that's like a librarian style researcher in the same party, and they're really geared towards two entirely different types of role playing. One on the battlefield, one in the urban environment. I just don't see how they'd mix, but it can happen. So I don't know. But so let's talk about things that you've noticed over time that don't make any sense to you, that we kind of accept them because, well, this is just something, a trope of fantasy or science fiction, and everybody just kind of goes with it. We don't worry about it. Well, sometimes I think you should worry about it, because it doesn't make any sense in the context of the game worlds that we're supposed to be playing in. Commoners are not going to put up with people in full plate or powered armor if they have a say in the matter. If they don't have a say in the matter, then your characters really probably aren't the good guys.